Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Fin Reaper Outdoors. Tonight I'm in the kitchen. I'm going to fry some fish, and I kind of wanted to show you guys how my family fries fish. Every time I cook fish for someone, or anyone in my family cooks fish for people, they just like are blown away with, wow, that's so good. And my dad and I kind of always have this joke that most people don't know what real fish really tastes like, so they have like their basis of comparison is what you would get at a restaurant. And I personally never order fried fish at a restaurant. I know I can fry fish better than anything I'm going to get at a restaurant. So I'm going to show you guys how we do it, and maybe you can try it out. So stick around. Here we go. People always are just amazed by how simple our setup is. So all we use is cornmeal, and I found this is the best type to use. Pretty much exclusively uses Quaker cornmeal in the little brown can or whatever, and then some salt. It's pretty simple. You can also like put some of this in with it or something if you like, but usually that cornmeal and salt's pretty much all we use. One secret or tip that I use is a paper bag. So basically you can see here I have all the cornmeal in the bag there. I don't know if you can see this or not. Yep, see, everything's in there. And as far as when it comes to adding the salt, I'm just gonna kind of put some in there. And I'll usually add some more when the fish is cooked. But the paper sack will basically absorb any of the extra moisture, and it will drastically prolong the use of the batter, basically. It will keep that batter dry, and you can use it longer. And then when I'm done, I just roll up the bag and I put it in the refrigerator, and then just keep using it over and over and over again. And you know, every once in a while I'll change it, but for the most part you can get several uses out of it as long as you keep it in the fridge. Now when it comes to the fish, the most important part is you must cut out all the bloodline. So there's a little bit that's left over here. Hopefully you guys can see that. When you go to a restaurant, you're going to get your fish, and it's going to have that nasty brown streak in it or whatever. Well, that's because they don't cut out the red meat or the bloodline. And why they don't do that, I have no idea. It's basically like getting a steak and not cutting off the fat. You know, I know maybe cooking a steak, you want that fat in there to kind of give it a little flavor, but not the case with fish. You want to get rid of all that and get it out of there, or it's going to basically give it that nasty fishy flavor. So that is the number one tip I can give you, is just cut out all that red meat. And this is actually red fish. Waiting on my grease to heat up, so as soon as my grease gets hot, we'll go drop it in. All right, our grease has got to around 350, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. I took this paper sack and I just cut the top out of it so that way you guys can see it better. And then when I'm done, I'll just put this cornmeal into a different bag so that way I can keep it. I'm just going to take my fish. I've kind of dried this off a little bit. There's ways you know, I drain it real good, and you can even pat it with a paper towel. The drier you have the fish, the less it's going to affect your batter, and the longer your cornmeal batter here is going to last. So we're just going to throw it in there, kind of space it out so that way it doesn't like get in a ball or anything. And this is, at this point, it's just like we're frying chicken. We're going to batter this up. Looks like I'm going to have about enough for 2 batches probably. So I'm just going to start mixing it up here. You can close the bag up and shake it if you want, but normally I just kind of mix it up here. Sometimes I'll even like kind of squeeze the batter into it just to make sure it gets in there real good. Make sure like that there, that piece that's unfolded, we want to make sure we got that covered. Just want to make sure we got the entire thing covered. And if I have different size pieces, I'll make sure I put the big ones in first. And oh, get a little hot there. I'll just dip these in. And as far as fryers, you don't need anything super fancy. I would pick your fryer based on the portion sizes you're going to be doing. If you're frying fish for 10 people, you need a bigger fryer. But if you're frying fish for 2 people, you just need a smaller one. So that's pretty much what will dictate what size fryer you need. All right, well, there's everything in that one. So what we're going to do now is we're pretty much going to just wait for these to float is the best way to tell when they're done. I mean, you can, I'm sure there's a way you can figure out what time you want to do them, but for the most part, we're just going to let them, once they start floating and they stop frying as much, that's kind of the gauge to say they're done. So hang on. Well, I forgot to mention we're outside because I would always recommend frying your fish outside in the garage or something other than inside, because if you do it inside, the whole house is going to smell like grease and whatnot. So find you a spot, do it outside. It'll save you a lot of trouble down the road. All right, as these start to float, we're just going to give them a little shake every once in a while just to make sure they're not clumped up or whatever. So as you can see, they are starting to float, but they're still frying pretty vigorously. So we'll just wait till they stop frying as hard, and then we'll know they're done. All right, as you can tell now, the boil of the fryer's kind of slowed down. These over here on the right are just about done, pretty much. There's still one piece in there that isn't floating very well. There, it kind of came up over here on the left side. These haven't been in long. They've probably been in like 3 or 4 minutes, so it doesn't take long for them to cook at all. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting this side out of here a little bit. I'm going to try to get as much of the grease off as I can, because I don't want to have to buy extra grease all the time. So I'm just going to dump them over here on my little platter I got with some napkins. This one piece here, he's a little thicker than everybody else. He's taking a little bit longer to get done. All right, let's go ahead and get it out of there. I'm gonna kind of flatten these out a little bit so I can put salt on them. And then we got one more batch to do. Some of these pieces are quite a bit smaller, so I'm going to make sure to put them in last, or at least in a second on this other side, because they're going to get done real quick. I'm just going to go ahead and drop those bigger pieces in real quick. Ouch, got hot again. I'm having to kind of reach across here so that way I can show you guys this. Normally I wouldn't be burning myself. Now we want to be really careful and go through this really good, because we don't want to leave any pieces of fish in here. You're going to leave some little ones in here, like, you know, like that one. I mean, that's probably okay. We'll go ahead and get it out since I got it. But for the most part, you want to just make sure you don't leave any pieces in there, obviously, because even though you're going to put this in the fridge, that can't be good for your batter. And so, anyway. All right, here we go. Let's wait for these to cook. All right, as you look at this, you can tell this right side here, that is pretty much done, just because you can tell they're not frying very aggressively or whatever. This side over here is still kind of got a bit of a boil to it, so they're not quite done. I'm gonna go ahead and get this side out. One piece in there. Ollie, just a minute. The world doesn't revolve around you playing fetch, okay? Ugh, goodness gracious. I see that you're back. I see that you're back, okay? Just hang on, all right? We'll be done in a minute, okay? We'll be done just a sec, all right? And you'll have my undivided attention. Oh, hey, hang on. All right, this side here is pretty much ready to go. Actually, God, Ollie, for the love of God. That's all I do. This dog wants to play fetch all the time. All right. Turn the grease off. Holly, hang on. All right, now we just got to put a little salt on those, and we'll be all set. What? What? What do you want? He says, I want you to throw my ball. We'll play fetch until he falls over dead. All right. go. All right, here is what we ended up with. I didn't have a lot of redfish to cook, but enough for a pretty good meal. So this is just a little bit of this cornmeal and salt. That's all we got going into this. So not very complicated at all. All right, now for the moment of truth. Let's try these and see how they are. Nailed it. All right, folks, there you have it. Easiest way to fry fish. Just a little bit of cornmeal, some salt, hot grease, and cold fish. That pretty much does it. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please subscribe. We'll see you next time.